part of our country, just like what happened in Sabah. In the Sabah issue in the 1960s, if you look at it, Sabah was owned by the Royal Sultanate of Sulu for a long time. The Malaysians were paying rent to the Philippines. We tried to get it and claim it as our own. But what did the Malaysians do to us? They pitted Filipinos against Filipinos. They supported a Muslim secessionist movement in the South using religion and race or against each other. Filipino Christians, Filipino Muslims fighting each other. So eventually, because they divided us and eventually conquered part of our territory, we lost Sabah. And the imagine if Sabah is like as rich as Mindanao, even probably richer than Mindanao. The Petronas Towers were built because of the minerals and properties of Sabah. It's happening again. This is happening, but now a foreign actor using fake news to destroy each other. So what we want on the PCO side, we urge Congress to join our digital crusade against combating fake news by strengthening our laws, such as the Cybercrime Prevention Act, and introducing internationally accepted policies and standards for content moderation on social media. I respectfully encourage our honorable lawmakers to consider the framework of the Digital Services Act, a recently adopted EU regulation which prevents illegal and harmful activities online and the spread of disinformation while still ensuring that the freedom of expression is upheld. The danger right now, sir, the greater danger right now, aside from fake news, is deep fake, wherein you put a person's face on another person. There were several complaints raised with the PCO that said, "Sir, tignan mo naman, may mga known personalities recruiting on advertising, mga scams. Yung mga OFW natin, nai-scam. Dahil nakalagay yung boses ng isang kilalang personality o isang kilalang negosyante. Pero hindi naman totoo yun. Imagine if you put the head of the COMELEC commissioner doon na ang nagsasabi, akala mo deepfake din. It is a national security concern that we really have to fight. Not against each other, but collectively, we fight together. We fight as one. Because, the fight against fake news should be prioritized. We said before, right, it was the fight against illegal drugs. But in this generation, the fight against fake news, deep fakes, they bring so many social media ills. Look, we now live in two worlds. The cyber world and the real world. The children right now spend more time on the cyber world. And if you give them constant disinformation, if you give them constant lies and negative news, what will happen to the next generation of Filipinos? We will forever be divided, just like what's happening in the United States. It's now happening in our country. It's so hard now to reach out to the yellows, to the greens, to the reds, or wherever political camp you belong to. What we need to do is to unite. Look at what happened, example, to Congressman Rodante Marcoleta. Pinagbumura siya. Nilait-lait ang kanyang religion. Tama ba yun? And yet, there's no regulation. There's no regulation. There's no punishment. So, on the part of PCO, we're trying to come up with an operational system wherein the DICT, the Department of Justice, and PCO should come up together to take down all these posts we consider national security concern and posts that divides Filipinos and spreading of fake news, and also the fight against illegal online gambling on the internet. It's not just fake news. There's so many ills there. But of course, with technology, there's good and there's bad. It can be a force of good. But we make sure that online, the The voice of truth should be louder than lies. It should always be louder than lies. Because now, a lie told 1,000 times drowns out the truth. We don't know what the truth is anymore. So we make sure here, as PCO, we make sure that in PCO, our foundation are truthful facts. I urge everybody here, let's get our acts together. We are not the enemies. We should stand together. The enemy is fake news. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Sec Ruiz. Before we continue, may I acknowledge the presence of Deputy Speaker David J.J. Suarez, and online we have Honorable Nelson Dayangirang, Honorable Raul Daniel Manuel, and Honorable Celso Rehencia. We will now proceed with the interpellation. As I've said earlier, to have an orderly hearing, may I request all the members who would like to ask questions to have your names listed. Please state your name. You have something to say?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I would just like to inform the committee that Ms. Sastrogando Sasot was not recognized and was kicked out of the Zoom link that she was provided for.
Unfortunately, ma'am, the Zoom meeting is exclusively for members only. Hindi po para sa hearing yun. The Zoom meeting is for members and the committee secretariat staff lang po. So if she's here in Manila, then she can attend the hearing. Abutin pa naman to ng mga another 3 to 4 hours. We have already 9 members who will be interpolating. We cannot, we would like to apologize because we cannot really accept that. It's exclusive for members and committee secretariat only.
Mr. Chair, she was provided a Zoom link. A staff a while ago provided me Zoom.
According to the COMSEC, we did not provide anyone, any resource person, a Zoom link. So most probably it was leaked by a staff or a member. We don't know where the source came from. But again, unfortunately, sad to say, we cannot accept it because I reiterate what my previous statement, that it is exclusive for members of Congress only, or rather of this committee and committee secretariat. Okay? So please take note. We'll now proceed with the, may I acknowledge the presence of Honorable Ernesto Junicio. We'll now proceed with the interpellation. First on the list, Representative Dante Marcoleta. You have the floor.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair. What I would like to say is not an interpellation. Maybe I will just make a very general manifestation, Mr. Chair, because up to now, I am not yet sure how how can we address this looming problem that the country faces in relation to fake news and deep fakes, false narratives and false information in the face of certain gold standard set by our Supreme Court. This gold standard, Mr. Chair, came in the form of decisions. May I just cite at least 4 of them, Mr. Chair, for our sake. This concerns the conduct of public men, people in government, and how criticisms can be hurled against them and how should they respond to these criticisms. I think these are very important standards, Mr. Chair, in the wake of our desire to probably make laws in relation to free speech. The first one, Mr. Chair, is the case of Yabut versus Office of the Ombudsman, 303 Philippines 319. And I quote this: a public official, more especially an elected one, should not be onion-skinned. Strict personal discipline is expected of an occupant of a public office because a public official is a property of the public. He is looked upon to set the example how public officials should correctly conduct themselves even in the face of extreme provocation. The second standard, or the second case that reiterates this standard, Mr. Chair, is United States versus Bustos, 37 Philippines 731. And I quote this: the interest of society and the maintenance of good government demand a full discussion of public affairs, complete liberty to comment on the conduct of public men is a scalpel in the case of free speech. The sharp incision of its probe relieves the abscesses of official dome. Men in public life may suffer under a hostile and unjust accusation. The wound can be assuaged with a balm of clear conscience. A public officer must not be too skinned with reference to comment upon his official acts. The third one, Mr. Chair, is Sason versus CA, 325 Philippines 1053. On this point, the rule is that defamatory remarks and comments on the conduct of or acts of public officers which are related to the discharge of their official duties will not constitute libel if the defendant proves the truth of the imputation. And the last one, Mr. Chair, is De Leon versus People 776 Philippines 701. And I quote this: while petitioners' declarations may be offensive, they are not actionable by themselves. Being sensitive has no place in this line of service, more so when allowing otherwise has the potential to create a chilling effect on the public. Mr. Chair, why am I stressing this gold standard as enunciated by some of the important decisions of the Supreme Court? Because as public men, as public servants, I have cited an example earlier when one blogger attacked me indiscriminately, called me demonyo and all this. My defense to that, Mr. Chair, is not probably to ask him in public to explain or even ask for an apology or even restrained by this committee, but I will just stand upright, as upright as I can and clean as I am, because people would judge me for what I am and for what this person could do against me. Yun lang po ang nakikita kong parang armas natin. Kapag nakikita nila tayo as transparent as we can to these people, people can easily distinguish na wala yan, sinungaling yan. Like, yun lang ang gusto kong maging karanasan ng tao, kahit na siguro hindi ko na siya demanda o pagalitan o gumawa ng action against him. It is enough that people would not listen to him anymore, that he will be rendered useless, and people will just judge him as, as a liar, somebody who peddles something that cannot be accepted by people. To me, that is already a consolation, Mr. Chair. So kung ating pong mga vloggers ay maaring napapasobra po yung kanilang pagkikriticize sa atin, talaga kung minsan po ay ganon. We have to strike a balance between the public affairs, between the public issues that must be deliberated completely and in the light of an extensive discussion of public affairs of government. You have to strike a balance between the importance of these issues discussed in public and the hostile accusation that might arise from this. Yun po yung gusto ko po. May mga batas naman po tayo once they attack us on a private site. Ang sinasabi po ito very, very easily. That could constitute libel pagka personal na po. Kaya po nung tinawag niya po akong demonyo, kaya yun na po yung personal na po yun. It's up to me to act kung gagamitin ko pa po yun. Pero sa akin po ay parang ano na lang yun. Katulad po nung nakaraan na pagdinig po, hindi ko makalimutan, isang abogado pa naman yun na nagbablog po na sinabi niya na huwag kayong maniwala sa pakulo at panliling lang ni Marcoleta. You were here, Mr. Chair and members, nung tanungin ko po siya, ano po ba po yung basihan ninyo na ako po'y nandun lang. wala po siyang maisagot ng kahit ano. He is a lawyer and he was allegedly teaching in a very reputable law school. So yun po, Mr. Chair, pwede ko po siyang demanda ng, pwede ko po siyang patispar. Iniisip ko lang po na pwede kong gawin yun because as a lawyer, ay maling-mali po yung ginawa niya because we have our own code na talaga pong pinagsisikapan naming itaguyod sa mga members po ng Philippine Bar. So meron po
Nakita
tayong
mo
mga
na?
batas na umiiral, Mr. Chair. May libel, ando na po yung
Okay.
maring matispar po yung mga kamukha namin na members ng Philippine Bar na
Oo.
nasosobrahan na po yung sinasabi nila. Pero sa mga vloggers po na maaaring kinikriticize tayo because
Left ka muna.
is public. Yung pagsisabi natin is public. They need some kind of a medium. Nakikita po nila tayo that should be so as transparent and accountable as we can be. Sa akin po ay binibigay ko na lang itong isang karapatan para sa kanila. Huwag lang po sana yung sumobra po na maging personal na po ang pangyayari. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Paalala lang po sa lahat, pakilapit po yung mikropono dahil may problema tayo sa audio. Medyo mahina po. The next to interpolate, Representative Rods Gutierrez. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I understand we have quite a lot of topics to discuss today. And first of all, I'd like to express my gratitude to our resource persons for attending after this whole time that they have not, no? Although we have to recall that twofold po yung privileged speech ni Congressman Barbers. On one hand, we have the proliferation of fake news of the vloggers na binabanggit, and I'm sure we'll be getting to that at a later time. But one thing that we'd like to discuss is also that might have been forgotten is the other privileged speech of the Honorable Barbers regarding fake news of China. So this is something that we wanted to highlight in the previous hearings. However, wala po yung the social media platform most involved. Luckily today, we'd like to thank them for their appearance. Nandito po yung ByteDance, owners of TikTok. So we could now discuss this issue thoroughly. To begin po, I'd like to direct my questions to the good spokesperson of the Coast Guard, Commodore Tariela. Commodore Tariela, magandang umaga po sa inyo. Good afternoon pala po. Good noon. Sir, meron po kasi earlier this month to the Honorable Chairman, kumakalat na post sa Chinese social media platforms. And instead of just limiting yung discussion sa West Philippine Sea, parang expanded na po yung kanilang claim. Lately, their claim now is that nagsasabi na ang China ay nagmamayari at namamahala sa Palawan for a period of 1,000 years sa Zhenghe Island. Ito rin daw yung basis for the island to return to China. Are you aware po, sir, of this post in relation to yung West Philippine Sea issue natin?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, you can
Yes.
proceed.
Yes, sir. The Philippine Coast Guard is aware of the social media post that is circulating in the different social media platforms.
Mr. Chair, I think the committee secretary, just for the information of the body, is the committee secretary prepared to flash this figure one po? Para lang makita natin. Let's not give it dignity. We will not play the video. But just to have, para may idea lang po ang ating mga mamamayan kung ano po yung itsura nitong post. Ito po yun. Is this the same post that you're referring to, Commodore Tariela?
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Chair, with your permission, I wish to bring attention to this honorable committee these screenshots showing an individual defending China's false claims over Palawan online. These comments were captured by the Facebook page Palawan Daily as part of efforts to debunk these false claims. This is a disturbing example of blatantly fake claims which are now spreading across the internet. While these claims are clearly ludicrous, there is no telling how many people may believe it or what kind of effect such belief could have. What is clear, however, is that there are individuals or entities who consciously created this content, clearly aiming to undermine our national sovereignty. So as you can see po, aside po sa post na yung sa right side po, yung lumalabas actually, parang video po siya, but then even in the comments, there are people defending this. And I think it would be hard for us to determine the authenticity of these persons Chinese na po yung characters. That is, an issue po ng fake news in relation to the West Philippine Sea is that some of the actors are beyond our territory po, no? So that's another aspect that would add complexity to the regulation of these things. But we'll go into that po siguro with TikTok later on. So, Commodore Cariela, sa buong panahon mo po sa PCG, nakarinig ka na ba ng parehong balita na kinaklaim ng China ang Palawan? Kailan po ninyo unang nalaman na may kumakalat ng balita na sinasabing pag-aari ng China ang Palawan?
Well, Mr. Chair, this is the first time that I heard about this, about the social media post. That kind of claim has never been done before by the People's Republic of China. This is their new narrative right now.
Ang dating narrative po nila ay simply limited to the surface features in the West Philippine Sea po. No? But never have they claimed Palawan as having their ownership.
Yes, sir.
At kung nakita po ninyo yung comment, kasama rin po yung isang comment doon, kasama na rin daw yung Luzon Island na inhabited daw ng China at pagmamayari po nila. Is that the first time for you to hear this claim also?
Yes, sir.
Ano po ba ang, well, if this is the first time, then we obviously, for us, walang claim, walang basis naman po yung claim. Upon hearing this po, I know this is now, ano po yung magiging reaction ng PCG in relation to this?
Well, the reaction, sir, of the national government is that we asked the National Historical Commission to directly debunk such historical claim of the People's Republic of China or whoever spread that fake news or misinformation. The position of the Philippine government is saying that Palawan and the entire island of Luzon has long been part of the Philippine archipelago.
So, ang usual response po natin is to fight it with information, proper information naman.
Yes, sir.
But this does not take away the fact na this would be circulating pa rin online, sir, no?
Yes, sir.
Ang PCG po ba ay active in requesting for takedown of such information sa social media platforms? In this case, for example, TikTok.
Yes, sir. In coordination with the Philippine Information Agency, sir.
Sir, can you please give us an idea po kung ano yung proseso po ng PCG in relation to? Kasi the way that I see it, although lahat po tayo ay biktima nito, the agency most involved would be the PCG po, no? Kayo rin ang, parang ito ay attack sa inyo because this would be your area of responsibility. Ano po yung process po ninyo when trying to debunk these claims po?
Well, especially if it concerns our operations, sir, that clearly countering our factual narrative. We relay our concern to the Philippine Information Agency, the PIA, which is also under the PCO. And since PIA has established connection with Meta, that's the only time that we can wait for any response, whether it will be taken down or we have to wait for, or we have to provide for additional information to be taken down by Meta, sir.
Commodore Tariela, through the Honorable Chairman, meron po ba kayong opisina na task para ma-monitor mga online activities or information, lalo na nagmumula sa China?
Right now, sir, the Commandant of the Philippine Coast Guard, Admiral Ronnie Gaban. Originally, sir, my designation is the spokesperson of the Coast Guard for the West Philippine Sea. My office was only Philippine Coast Guard West Philippine Sea Transparency Office. But it has already upgraded to Philippine Coast Guard West Philippine Sea Transparency Group. And that now includes monitoring of social media platforms that spread fake news and misinformation.
Sir, ito po ba ay kasama sa original mandate ng PCG? Or is this part of the evolving new frontier nga po na tinatawag nila sa conflict over the West Philippine Sea?
This is part of our evolving role right now, especially that the national government is supporting the Transparency Initiative to make the Filipino people understand and be aware of what's happening in the West Philippine Sea. And the only way that we can be more successful in creating awareness and right information to the Filipino people is also to safeguard the spread of fake news, or to have it prevented to proliferate in the social media platforms.
I see. Generally po kasi, Commodore, ang pagkakaintindi po namin sa PCG, no, ay napaka-physical po dapat ang ating role, no? Kayo po talaga ang defenders of the West Philippine Sea as our internal waters there. Kayo po ay nandun, kayo po ay talagang watching over yung mga transgressions. Ngunit ngayon, it seems to be transgressions are also appearing in the cyberspace. Ano po yung epekto po nito sa ating soberenya? Kasi isa iba po ang minsan sinasabi nila, these are just words. And this would not really affect, it should not affect us. But do you stand by that sentiment po?
You know, sir, one of the main reasons why President Bongbong Marcos, to the National Task Force West Philippine Sea, supported the Transparency Initiative because he basically inherited a nation wherein Filipino people, right after he assumed the presidency, there's a very limited information that Filipino people learned about the West Philippine Sea. From 2016 to 2022, there are very small portions of information that we told the Filipino people. And for the president to only deliver his commitment of not surrendering a square inch of our territory to any foreign power, he has to get the support of the Filipino people. And the Filipinos will not be supporting our fight in the West Philippine Sea if they do not know what's happening in the West Philippine Sea. So with the transparency effort that we're doing now, as we can now see from different surveys, more Filipinos are being aware of what's happening in the West Philippine Sea. And that's, as what Justice Carpio said, our fight in the West Philippine Sea is intergenerational. It is important for the younger generation, especially, to understand our fight in the West Philippine Sea. That's why our fight for fake news and misinformation is very important for us to sustain our fight for sovereignty.
Thank you, sir. I would agree with that po, no? As mentioned actually by Secretary Ruiz. For example, ako po, generation namin, we're not aware already of the Sabah issue. And I fear that might be what will happen, no, with the West Philippine Sea with this continued disinformation. So we're glad to know po na at least the PCG, despite your mandate being the actual physical defense of the West Philippine Sea, physical monitoring and the regulation of the area, we're glad to know po na that you're evolving. Unfortunately, it should be that case. We will try to do our best here in this committee to combat at least yung cyber aspect of that front. Pero in relation to that po, Commodore Tariela, to the Honorable Chairman, we really have to make all these actions to counter this map expansion tactics ng China, whether it's in the actual or the cyberspace po. No? Pero do you have any recommendations po in relation to this disinformation front of the West Philippine Sea?
Well, I think, sir, it's important for us to make the bloggers or any other social media influencers to understand the limitation of freedom of speech, especially if it has something to do with national security concern. Sometimes it's very easy for bloggers or any social media influencers to say that West Philippine Sea, we do not have bases, that the Philippines is the one escalating the tension, those kind of things. They can hide from the constitutional freedom of speech. But again, that concerns our national security. So if there is something that the Congress can do, that is to make sure that we have to prevent them from hiding from that constitutional right, and to also give so much significance when we talk about national security.
Thank you, Commander Riera. I would tend to agree with that po, no? But just in addition po siguro for the consideration of the committee, an issue lang po is at least in some instances, meron nga pong false narratives, fake news by bloggers. But in addition to that, what makes it harder in the cyberspace is some of them even hide behind anonymity po, no? So that's another aspect of the regulation, if ever. If the committee would recommend it, I think we also have to look into the interplay between yung actual bloggers who are expressing legitimate freedom of expression, subject of course to proper limitations in relation to fake news, and those that are probably bots po, no, or non-persons who actually should not be exercising any of these rights. But with that, Mr. Chair, just a few additional questions of PCG, because although we've already discussed earlier yung post nung sa Palawan, it is our understanding that generally, especially in TikTok, could you confirm po sa amin po, Commodore Tariela, na in some cases, it's not really censorship po, no? But there seems to be a suppression of content in relation of pro-West Philippine Sea sentiments. Is that correct po?
Well, I don't have personal experience about the suppression of content in TikTok, sir. But I heard from other reporters that if they're using such platform, there are instances that they can limit the audience and the engagement of that particular post if it has something to do with West Philippine Sea reporting.
I see, sir. Actually, that question is coming from the source that, I also heard of the same sentiments. Unfortunately, I don't think we have any of these media reporters here with us today as resource persons. So I wanted to ask from you po sana, because what I recall would be in those instances where there are actual, how do you call them, conflicts between the Coast Guard and also yung counterpart po natin sa China. sometimes we've adopted that strategy of having journalists on board.
Yes.
No? But what we've heard is that when they were posting to their personal social media accounts, sometimes they will block out the audio, or sometimes they would limit po its proliferation in the algorithm. And I just want to hear po siguro from you, Commodore Triella, if you had any similar experience to this.
Well, for other social media platforms, we don't have any experience about suppression of the reach of the audience, sir. As I said, according to some journalists, their main concern is only TikTok, sir.
TikTok lang po talaga.
Yes, sir.
So with that, Mr. Chair, and I understand generally we want to compartmentalize the topics, but if I still have some time, siguro a few questions po kay TikTok, Mr. Chair. Tapos na po yung oras, Chair. Okay lang. A few more interjection questions, a few questions na follow-up lang po. So, Mr. Chair, we'd like to acknowledge, we'd like to, if the Honorable Chair would acknowledge po yung representative ng TikTok.
Hi, yes, good morning, Mr. Chair, and good morning to the Honorable Committee. I just wanted to clarify that I'm here to represent TikTok and not ByteDance. And actually, Mr. Chair, if you would allow, would we be able to play the video that we had prepared for today that we were hoping to show the Honorable Committee this morning?
We will now proceed with the presentation. Then afterwards, maybe you can answer some questions from Representative Gutierrez. Comsec, please play the video.
May audio po. May audio po yan.